All right, Chuck, you ready?
Aye, Captain.
All right.
I can't hear you.
Aye, Captain.
Who lives in a taco at the Atlanta Motor Speedway? Daniel Suarez.
Ganador! It picked it up that time. What the fuck
You're
is
in.
up, baby? Hell yeah. I got the taco pinata because Daniel Suarez fucking won. How about that shit?
Yes, he did. And
Yeah, you did.
this is the
This
Big Motor
is-
Small Blade podcast.
This is the Big Motor Small Blade Podcast. I'm Buddy Pulley.
I'm Seth Dolby.
And I'm Chase Folsom, also known as Sick Fuck Chuck today.
Sick fuck, Chuck. You're always a sick fuck. Let's be real
Fuck.
here. Hell yeah. Dude, what a damn day to be alive. How about me, amigo?
How about me, amigo?
Dude, I can't fucking believe it. I kept saying it. I got a funny story. We'll go ahead. I'll tell my funny story.
All
Right
right.
off the bat. I was cheering I was so damn happy. I got the cops called on me.
You got a cop called on you.
I got the cops called on me, bro. We're sitting here. So we go through the motions of not knowing who won. I thought Blaney won, so I was ticked off. And then I got my buddy Tyler and our loyal listener Brad here. They're with me, and they're showing the slow-mo shot real close up, and they're like, I don't know, dude, Suarez, it looks like Suarez might have gotten it. And I, froze. And I was like, wait for the official word. And then they came over the radio and said, 99 car is the winner. And I lost it. I was jumping up and down the screen. I immediately called Mom, of course. If you guys are new to the podcast, hopefully we have some new listeners. I would imagine, because we're getting way more listeners than we ever have before. So appreciate you guys. By the way, Daniel Suarez is Shane Van Gisbergen's teammate. Throw that in there real quick.
Take a shot.
Yeah, exactly. No, you haven't mentioned that yet. But anyway, so I call my mom, and of course she's crying. So that makes me cry. And I was like, I can't believe he did it. We're, doing whatever. Apparently I was being really loud, because then Tyler and Brad take off, and I go to Mom's house, right? And I was at Mom's house. I give her a big old hug. I'm like, oh, we're reminiscing on the day and whatever. And I get a call from a random number. I answer the phone. This is Officer Pickle Dick from Raleigh Police Department. I was like, oh shit, what happened? And he's like, yeah, are you at home right now? I was like, no. And he was like, well, we had a call that someone was screaming bloody murder in your house and on your balcony, and they just real concerned about that. And I was like, no, I think you got the wrong guy. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't think I was screaming that loud. And they were like, I don't know. They heard something like, I can't believe he did that, or I can't believe. They were they sounded like someone was crying and real hysterical. And I was like, oh, no, that was definitely me. I said, mi amigo. I didn't say mi amigo. I said, one of my favorite drivers won the NASCAR race today. It's a big deal. Pretty happy about it. And the officer kind of chuckled, and we got it figured out. Still haven't figured out what neighbor called. I'm trying to figure that out because, I have some neighbors from Auckland, New Zealand. Actually, I don't know how I haven't mentioned that on the podcast before.
Really?
Yeah. My across the hall neighbors are from Auckland, New Zealand. I was like, do you know Shane Van Gisbergen? And they're like, no. So
Damn.
I'm hoping it's not them. I hope I didn't piss them off. I'm hoping it's the behind me neighbors, because there's some real dickheads. And I'm going to scream like hell if Daniel Suarez wins a fucking race.
To be fair, if I didn't know what was going on and I just heard that, I'd be mildly concerned.
The cop goes, they go, okay, were you there alone? I go, no, it's a friends. I had some friends there. He said, he's like, were they two white males? I was like, yes. Like, he fully thought we murdered someone in my apartment. So, no, nothing happened. I tell you what, this taco is going to have a rough night tomorrow night. Let me tell you that right now. But nah, man, it was great. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We'll see you next week. No, yeah. Anyway, that's my story. What a day, man. I'm so happy. I love Daniel. It's no secret. I talk about him every week. I get thoroughly offended with my facial expressions when people start talking bad about him. Obviously my mom, if you guys don't know, is the biggest Daniel Suarez fan in the fucking world. And it's one of them things, man. It's just, it hits you right here. You know, I was explaining it last week, the heartbreak of, watching a driver I love like Alex Bowman lose the Daytona 500 and talk about going from the highest to high, or the lowest to lows to the highest to highs. You know, I gave the seat back in front of me some hell, man. I beat the lunch money out of that seat back in Daytona. And I'm about to.
That's where the cop should have actually been called.
Exactly. This taco right here. I'm gonna steal the candy out of this taco. Anyway, enough of me talking. What's up, guys?
Hey.
I'm just so happy, man.
Happy's upstairs.
Yeah.
Happy's outside the door meowing.
I wish I could show more enthusiasm, but as I previously said, I'm sick. So, woo, Daniel. That finish was awesome. I watched it with my dad. He just walked in the door, and my dad is like stereotypical boomer NASCAR fan, as you guys know. and he's not even a boomer, is the best part. And we sat there and I listened to him talk about how bad the new Atlanta is for the final 3 of the final 4 laps up to the last one, which I don't necessarily disagree with until today, in a sense. And then on the last lap, we're sitting there and we're still kind of like shitting on it. And then Kyle goes off into 3 and they go 3 wide. And we both go, oh shit. And then they come off 4 and we're both like, holy shit, what just happened? And then I like, for a second, we went from like, because I literally said as they came off 2, Blaney's got this race in the bag. And then that happened.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, never mind. That was awesome. And my dad was like, huh, maybe that wasn't so bad after all. Then he just walked away. Seth?
Yeah, I just thought it was funny watching all the reaction videos come out and everybody's screaming, and also Buddy. It doesn't sound like Chuck and Papa Chuck were, but maybe am I the only one that just watches a sporting event and goes, "Oh, this is going to be cool. Oh, that was cool." Well, am I not a real? Am I like a bad human being? Was I like programmed wrong?
No, because that's not true. That's not true at all. You might do that at home alone, but if you're with us, like you are as animated as we are. So
I can vividly remember one time when I said the words, and I quote, this is good because they haven't eaten shit yet. And as I said, yeah, you both went, oh! So I've seen you be animated before.
That's fair.
At Daytona, July.
Okay, and I'm lying too, because they come off 4 and I was.
Why'd you even say it?
Well, I'm not lying. I'm just kind of lying. They get off 4 and I'm like, oh, come on, Daniel. Come on. And then they cross
the same sentiment.
Well, so they cross the line, and same as y'all, I thought Blaney won, but the ticker comes up and says Suarez. I'm like, well, yeah. ticker's been wrong before. So
last week.
The official ruling. But yeah, I don't know. It was that was something. It really was. See, here's the thing. When they showed it, I genuinely thought it was about 1/1000th of a second. Like, because it seriously
it
looks.
looked a lot closer.
Yeah, it looks closer than Craven Busch or Talladega 2011. I think it all just boils down to the fact they're going like 15-mile-an-hour slower. I think it actually was closer. That's true.
So I guess that doesn't make it, the color of the splitter doesn't make the margin any smaller. But
yeah,
I think the splitters being black makes it look to the eye closer than it is.
It doesn't matter because it was the closest finish in motorsports history between the top three. So
yes, that's true.
Previously was IndyCar, Chicagoland. What year was that? 06 or 7?
7, I think. Was that with Carpenter and someone, or who was that?
They finished 3 wide.
No, I think it was like Hornish one. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Either way, they were 10 thousandths, so 100th apart, and these 3 were 7 1,000ths apart. So that's insane. But
so Justin Marks had a statement about Daniel Suarez after the race. He said, "2024 is a contract year for Daniel," and Justin basically said, yes, that's true, but, he's not on the hot. Daniel's not on the hot seat, is essentially what he said. He said, I don't envision Daniel Suarez anywhere else but Trackhouse. So, obviously, that's real easy to say after a win, but it's got to say something that Justin Marks has seemed pretty steadfast that he wants Daniel there, even, before today. So it's cool to see that reiterated, and he's in the playoffs. There's something to be said about that. And this is such a huge win for him. Daniel has been on one hell of a journey as a race car driver, and to get him in a place where he can succeed, and hopefully this will be more on a consistent basis. Because, I've been harping on it. You guys said ifs and buts, candies and nuts, and we'll have a Merry Feliz Cumpleaños or whatever the fuck. That's happy birthday. You know what I mean.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true. He's had many opportunities to win, and they just haven't executed. And he's come out the gate. Yes, they're 2 super speedways, but he's come out the gate strong. He was strong in Daytona. He ran up front, and obviously got caught up and whatever. But here today, I constantly saw him just fighting to the front. He was never content, and he seemed determined. And that I was the same as you guys. I thought Blaney had it, and then going down the back, I thought Busch had it, and Daniel hung in there, and by that much.
Yeah.
So
what really made the finish was Bubba Wallace, because obviously he gave that big shove to Kyle Busch and then packed it down into the corner and washed up, but washed up into the 2 a bit. And that's what really made the finish, because no one had any push coming behind. So it really created that.
If you really look at it too, if you go all the way down to the backstretch, Suarez makes a really good move that I don't think people are appreciating, is when Kyle pokes out to pass Blaney. I think it saves Blaney and Suarez, because I think Kyle probably could have cleared them both, but Suarez was able to just get to Kyle's rear quarter panel just in time to kind of pull him back, and that kind of brings them all back even. And then if you look off 4, I think what gave Suarez the advantage is Cindric did start coming back just a little bit as they came down the front stretch, and that might have been just the push Daniel needed to get ahead.
Yeah.
Blaney definitely seemed like he had the momentum off 4.
I think there's also sorry, you go, Seth.
Oh, but also being on the outside was kind of the best place to be, because you tend to lose a little bit being on the bottom.
Outside's always the best place to be in Atlanta. Earnhardt, Harvick, Suarez, man, that's pretty good. Hey,
Harvick didn't run the outside.
And Carl. Don't forget Carl.
No, I'm talking about in the photo finishes. Harvick,
yeah.
Earnhardt, Suarez. Hey, that's a pretty good trio in this household. They were on the top in Atlanta, and they win races, baby. And Carl too, I guess.
Thank you. What I was going to say is it also helped Daniel that as they came out of 4, he was the farthest back of the 3, meaning side draft is going to help him the most. So as the momentum changes, he's going to be affected in a positive way the most compared to the other 2. And Blaney being ahead, well, who was ahead off of 4 between Blaney and Busch? I don't remember. I know Daniel was the farthest.
I think Blaney had a nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know Daniel, so in that case, as Kyle's side drafting off the side of the 12, Daniel's side drafting off the side of the 8. So as Kyle moves forward, Daniel moves forward that much more, which
Kyle
is what
Kyle had no choice. He's getting all the air off both cars, and he really had nothing for him there. But I'm just glad that I was flabbergasted, and you can use every other big word that I don't know the meaning of in the book. They colloquially ran the last 5 laps green, which was
not what that word means.
Not at all what that means. Yeah, koala
Yes.
way. But no, they ran the last 4 or 5 laps green. I was shocked.
Yes, 100%.
I didn't think they'd do it.
I didn't think they would. I'm so glad they did because I feel like it just made it set everything up much better.
I actually thought when Kyle made the move into 3, they were going to junk all 3 of them and Cindric was going to win.
I did too. I thought Suarez was going to get pinned. I thought they were going to do 09 All-Star race and they were going to pancake it in the wall. And
I thought Kyle was just going to hook Daniel into Blaney.
I mean, I was talking. And I thought Blaney was going to end up hitting the outside wall and spraying radiator fluid on everybody like Gordon did to me at the All-Star race that one year.
Chuck, do you want to say something? It looks like you do.
No.
No? Okay. All right. So something I was thinking about as the end of after the race happened. Is there a team anybody would rather be at right now than Trackhouse? Like, is there a better environment in NASCAR right now than Trackhouse?
If college was worth a shit, then maybe.
Maybe, but
no, because they don't have money. They don't have no money. Never mind.
That's true.
Well, that kind of goes back to them being worth a shit. If they had money, they'd be worth a shit.
You got to have money to be worth a shit.
It's true.
Those things play hand in hand.
Anyway, yes, you bring up a good point, Seth. Yes, continue.
Yeah, I don't know the what's the word I'm looking for? Companionship, maybe the camaraderie. That's the word I was looking for. The camaraderie at Trackhouse right now is, I don't think I've ever seen it in NASCAR Cup competition, to be completely honest. I mean, like immediately as soon as it happens, Ross is out there celebrating with Daniel. Justin Marks runs out there to celebrate with Daniel. Like
Justin Marks' wife, the entire crew,
I mean, it's just got to be such a great atmosphere to be in right now.
Yeah. And that's what Daniel struggled with the most. And that's why, because when he was at Gibbs, he always felt like he was the 4th guy. And, he obviously, at Stuart Haas, he was had a 4-car team. Daniel seemed like he needed attention. Because, I mean, he's still, we'll take Kevin Harvick, for instance. Kevin Harvick and Daniel Suarez kind of were thrown into similar situations. And obviously Harvick took over after Dale Earnhardt. Daniel took after Carl Edwards on relative short notice. And so when that happens, you look at Kevin Harvick, the entire world was paying attention to Kevin Harvick, but I guarantee the entirety of RCR was making sure that 29 car ran well. Daniel didn't have that. It was, okay, you are the 4th guy here. And, when you get thrown into a situation like that, you're going to need that attention. And especially, Daniel being, he's not from America. He's still he still hadn't completely grasped everything and language barriers and all that stuff. And so when he got to Trackhouse, he finally got somewhere where it was all about him and the attention was on him, and he got the focus for himself. And that's why I think a lot of people laughed when he said when he went there that this was the best opportunity he'd ever had. And people kind of question it like, I don't know about that. But I think he's proved it to be true 2 wins later.
Yep. I agree. I don't have anything else to add on that.
Yeah. But yeah, the overall race, I mean, what did you guys think? Because, I mean, actually, hold on. I'm going to say this. I don't give a damn what you guys are going to say because both of y'all hate the new Atlanta. I would prefer the old Atlanta, but I like this one. This one is getting pretty good. It's getting fun to watch.
All right, so I'm going to preface this.
Hang on. Considering we literally titled the podcast to this race's episode last year, quote, "This race sucked." And now here we are, just about a year later.
Yeah, so I'm going to preface this by saying I'm done talking about old Atlanta. It's not relevant anymore. Just, it's been gone for 3 years.
When the hell has that ever stopped us? It's very good. I'm proud of you.
I rethought the way I talk about super speedway racing in the off season, and I'm just going to take it as super speedway racing now.
Thank you. I've been trying to get you to do that for so long. Just take it for what it is.
Yeah. And for what this race was, it was pretty fucking good.
It was fucking great, dude.
I mean,
awesome.
We wrecked entirely too much in the third stage.
Oh, God,
but
yeah.
When we did run, it was really fun.
Oh.
And the second stage was awesome. Like, the second stage was probably the most fun I've had with New Atlanta at all. Like, that was great. And obviously the finish was ridiculous. So this is a bitchin' race in my book. I'm getting ahead of myself, but
yeah. I mean, dude, here, ask me if you or tell me if you share the same sentiment. Sorry, Chuck. I'm very excited about this. This gave me 2014 Daytona 500 vibes. Do you remember that? How hard they raced, but how clean they raced. And, I mean, obviously they raced. The racing was up front was relatively clean. We didn't see a lot of the wrecks. Anyway, I won't get into too much in it. But it reminded me of that or just a vintage super speedway race in general. And it was very good.
So my analysis of this race, I'm going to break it up into two parts. So my second part, I'll get on my soapbox and complain about two things after you guys get to talk again. But so as anybody that listens to this should know, I work for frontstretch.com. And today I was in charge of writing
Chase Folsom.
Yeah, I was in charge of writing our Monday column that goes every Monday called Thinking Out Loud. And
you do a lot of
that. I do. I cannot believe I'm about to say this.
Oh my
because
God.
I am the absolute biggest hater of this racetrack. But I watched today's race, and what I captured or what I titled that article that will come out, well, the day this comes out or somewhere around that, is Thinking Out Loud. Is Atlanta the best plate track in NASCAR? And my answer is yes, it is. And I cannot believe I just said that. But of the three, Atlanta puts the ball back in the driver's court. Atlanta actually puts the skill needed to win the race back in the hands of the driver and not just luck, because you actually have to lift and the tires actually wear. And it's great because you have legitimate comers and goers. And I hate that I'm saying this, but it was awesome because you do have legitimate comers and goers. And even when you did go to the back, the fast guys found their way back to the front because you actually can pass there. And it's not just because they're saving fuel like they are at Daytona. Daytona and Talladega still suck. Okay, they do still suck. I don't care. They suck. They're great. They're cool for what they are, but I hate that style of racing. But Atlanta's different, and it's fun. And I don't know. I cannot. And I can't stand that I'm saying that, but it's true. And last year at this time, we were also right because it did suck last year. But something changed last July, and I think it's that the track just started to wear. Because if we had got to finish last July's race, it very well could have ended the same way tonight's did. Yeah. We just never got to see the end of that because it started to be that. It started to be exactly what we saw today. Like they were making moves for the lead up front, and then it all went to crap because it started raining and then the whatever. So yes, today's race was awesome. Go ahead and quote me on it. I said Atlanta's good. Da 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 da. You two talk, and I'll get back around to my soapbox.
I'm floored. I did not expect this. I expected y'all to just make the hell-bent argument of the century to try to say this race was dog shit. And like, yeah, I look, man, I kind of told y'all. I told y'all, give it time. This track is going to come to it. And here we are. And like you said, July was very good. I think the spring last year was the perfect storm of just it was freezing cold outside and just everything about it was just a perfect storm for that race. But, I mean, I can't believe what I'm hearing out of you two. I'm just, I don't know. This is unreal. Enjoy it, folks.
It bothers me so much.
Now.
All right, go ahead and get on y'all's soapboxes. Because I do have some things, too.
That being said, this does not need to be in the playoffs.
I would have preferred this over Talladega.
Yes, okay. If we could take Talladega out, I would be okay with this. Yes. 100%. Because like Chuck said, it's significantly more in the driver's hands than Daytona or Talladega entirely. Like they're not even close. In fact, well, I wanted to say this last week. The aura of the Daytona 500 proved to me why we don't need 2 oval races at Daytona. And I think that would help out with this too. Because I think we're like kind of at those tracks specifically, we're getting fatigued. Just because it's not very good right now. It's just not. But I said this in our group chat. Everything that's great about Atlanta right now is it shows exactly what's wrong with Daytona and Talladega right now. There's no tire fall off at Daytona and Talladega. Like we sincerely need to show up to Daytona or Talladega in April with gumball tires. Like, I don't know how much that would help, but it would definitely play a factor.
Talladega just hasn't worn enough. It's just whatever they paved it with was the same kind of aggregate and the same polymers they used to
rip it up,
to pave Charlotte in 06, and that just doesn't wear.
Rip it up, pave it with what they pave freaking Atlanta with.
Yeah. See, I don't think Talladega is terribly great with this package. I think Daytona is getting better, and I still think the 500 was great. I think that was more what the racing when they raced was very good, and I don't mind the fuel saving. But you bring up a good point. It does show everything that's wrong with Daytona and Talladega, because I keep saying it reminds me of vintage super speedway racing, and I think the more the guys, you're going to get more spread out. The more the years go by, and it's going to be. I mean, that's stage 2 when they were slicing and dicing sideways. I mean, you could see it, man. They were having to race the racetrack as well as race each other, and that's what makes Darlington so great. That's what makes Darlington the best track on the schedule, is because it just puts on display how good these drivers really are. And today showed that. And I'll go ahead and say what I don't like. They crashed entirely too much. That was very annoying. So that sucks. I don't really know what you do about that. I I will say it didn't seem like a lot of the crashes were from entirely like dumb moves. It didn't seem like I didn't look at a lot of wrecks today and be like, man, those are some head ass moves. There's definitely a couple, but like the Joey Logano thing. I mean, that was honestly a product of what we're asking for, and as the comers and goers and tire fall off and handling going away. But yeah, that was the main gripe I had with it. Is just we were in such a good rhythm and we wrecked too much.
So I'm going to get on my soapbox, and I'm not going to spend too much time on either topic. I do have a third topic that I'll touch very briefly because we talked about it last week, but then it got talked about all week again. Why in the world was everybody complaining about the fuel thing at Daytona so much this week? Because
I have no clue, dude.
We had strategy for once in a race for the first time in God knows when, and everybody's trying to abolish it. Make it make sense. Yeah. Anyway, my soapbox actually relevant to this week. Two things. Number one, Marcus Smith has got to be kicking himself in the nuts right now because he could have done this shit to Texas and kept Atlanta.
He still can.
That's what I'm about to say. Just because he can does not mean he should. And just because Atlanta was awesome today.
I'm about to make an argument anyway.
Chuck, your mic is muted.
Man.
I am not done.
Hang on. Man. I'm waiting on like my computer to just blow up at this point.
I've been so excited to talk about this race, and everything in the universe has been trying to stop it from happening. We've had all sorts of technical difficulties.
You think they're both dead?
Yeah.
Well, here's a thought. You should charge them sometime.
Is my computer audio good enough to just keep going like this or no?
I would prefer if you plugged your headphones in.
I don't have any other
You just picked some up.
They're freaking iPhone jack, not this.
I hate iPhones.
I do too. Oh, no.
I mean,
and I don't know where my brothers are.
Oh, my God. All right, we can just roll with it. It's fine.
Is this thing working?
Yes.
Oh
no, it's not. Wait. Hey, speak.
Da-da-da-da.
Yep, works.
Let me... While I'm talking, I'm going to get a charger going. So, yeah. Just because Atlanta's awesome, as I look down at this charger, does not mean that we should go build 6 or 7 more of them, or however many they think they need to build, because that's wrong. Let Atlanta be the anomaly that it is, and let it be awesome, because if you go make Texas the same thing, go make wherever else you want to make the same thing, it's going to make it not awesome anymore. Because you're going to wear it out. If we go do it twice a year, you know why Darlington's so awesome? Because we only go to a track like Darlington, other than what you guys just mentioned, twice a year. We only go to a track like Bristol and like Martinsville twice a year. That's what makes them special. Don't go do this somewhere else. My other soapbox, these cars are entirely too forgiving. And when I say that, you shouldn't be able to do the shit that Michael McDowell did going into pit road.
Hang on. I want to talk about that. I want to rebuttal and talk about the first part of your gripe because I think the second part is a good discussion point. So I think they should do this to Texas, but I think if you're going to do it to Texas, you gotta make Atlanta the All-Star race and give Wilkesboro Atlanta's other date. I think it's too perfect. It's too perfect. And I think that's the only way you do it. I think either way I think this is what's going to happen to Texas. I think this is definitely what's going to happen to Texas. And I don't think Marcus Smith is kicking himself at all right now. I think he's probably sitting back in the chair having a cigar and a glass of his finest and looking at how wrong everybody else was. But anyway, that's all I had to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have other ideas for Texas, but we can talk about that after the Texas race when it's absolutely
There's a Buc-ee's across the street from Texas. I think they should make a competing Buc-ee's. across the street from that Buc-ee's instead of Texas Motor
Here's the
Speedway.
thing. Here's the thing. Whatever they do to Texas Motor Speedway, Atlanta should still be the all-star race. It's
Yes.
literally perfect for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
But yeah, we can give our Texas ideas after the Texas snoozer in April.
we've given our Texas ideas 100 times on this podcast.
I mean, like we could just
Yeah.
go through like a whole like legitimate exactly what we would do to the racetrack. But
Yeah, we'll do that.
And-
yeah.
my other soapbox, and I started to say it, and then these race cars, and I mean like the physical attributes of these race cars are entirely too forgiving. Now, do I think it's awesome that Daniel won the race today? Yeah, good for Daniel. That guy needed to win a race for his confidence. However, him and Bubba, who finished 5th, as hard as they piled into the crash on lap 2, there's no way those cars should have been as fast as they were.
William
Michael
Byron shouldn't have
McDowell-
been able to finish this race today.
Michael McDowell, too, did one of the dumbest things I've ever seen coming to pit road. They didn't throw a yellow, which was good on them, by the way. There's
Whoa.
no reason that car should have been leading the race 50 laps later. This car is so like rock solid that guys can make the dumbest mistakes in the world and it doesn't matter because the car doesn't bend at all unless you happen to brush up against the outside wall, then you break a toe link, then your day's done. At Zane Smith. So I don't know. I just feel like it's in some areas it's entirely too weak where like you could brush up against something and with the rear of the car and the toe links broke and you're fucked for the rest of the day, or you could slam it into the inside wall and it's like, oh, did I hit something? Couldn't tell, didn't notice. Chris Buescher finished in the top 10 today, I'm pretty sure, and there's no way that car should have kept going either. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Seth?
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you had something about that. My bad.
Well, with your first point, that other thing you said, we're gonna have to get to that. I don't agree with that, but
yeah. Yeah. No, I agree too. I really do. I think that there should be a penalty for doing something dumb or being involved in a crash. And there's not a whole lot of that penalty. And the less penalty there is for doing dumb shit, the more dumb shit that's going to happen. I mean, that's just life. So, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wonder,
think
like,
we
how
covered
big of a change would it be to go back to sheet metal? Like, how big of a change would that be? Like, keep the chassis the same because that's the part that they'd actually be able to reuse anyway. And then at least when they made a mistake, the sheet metal would be kind of fucked and then they wouldn't be as fast as they are.
What do they
It's
use in
just-
Xfinity? Because Xfinity's like a composite body, but it's because it's not the same sheet metal it used to be. But that thing still like bends when it wrecks.
Yeah, it's also not the same.
I don't think
The
it's
entire front end
necessary-
structure's not the same either.
Yeah, and I think exactly. It's what's under it. I don't think it's the actual body of the car. I think it's what's under it that holds.
Xfinity
Yeah.
cars actually have crush zones.
Yeah, exactly. Cup does not
Yeah.
right now, and
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It still needs to be addressed. We've made progress. People aren't getting hurt, at least that we know of. So that's good. Now we need to address that situation. But I don't know if that will get addressed. But
I hope they
I
take
agree
note of
with
it.
you.
I hope they take note of it because, in my personal opinion, I think it's kind of embarrassing that they can do something like that and still just end up right back at the front.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't really take notice to it until McDowell was just leading the race after he stayed out and like was fast. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is the same guy that just flat out wrecked into the inside wall and took out the 24 with him coming into the pits. Like that car and the old car, they would have been stuck sitting there. The front end would have been caved into the windshield.
Yeah. This pit road situation too at Atlanta is the dumbest thing.
There's not really a better solution for it though. You want them to pull down off a 4?
Yeah,
I don't
fucking
know, man.
signal. We did it at Charlotte when we ran plates, and I don't remember anybody having a problem there.
Yeah,
We did it the first year or the first race. Did we have an issue in that race?
I can't remember. I think we did.
I think they did. I think that's why they changed it.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't watch that
Yeah,
race.
we did.
So.
Maybe
yeah,
just
I don't get. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, to be fair though, it's better than it was like last spring when we did it, when everyone had to come in and do the whole thing at 45 miles an hour. But realistically, if you know you're pitting, you should be able to get down to 90 miles an hour by the end of the back straightaway and not wreck.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but also, I don't know. The backstretch at Atlanta is so short.
It is, but have you seen how big the brakes are on these things?
Yeah, that's true. But these brakes at super speedways are, they have them a certain way that makes them a whole lot easier to lock up. It seems like, but I don't know if the solution is just not having a speed limit on make it to where you have to be below the white line, but you don't necessarily have to meet a minimum speed. And you have to come in. I think also you should make it to where you have to come in single file. You can't. We saw Kyle Busch doored the shit out of Kyle Larson coming on the pit road one time because he went in there too wide. And so, Chuck, I think you're muted, but anyway, go ahead.
Poor Chuck.
Again.
Maybe.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the other, or I guess we can go ahead and get into the caution, no caution debate.
Yeah.
Okay, so
y'all start. I'm trying to think of a solution.
Okay. All right. So obviously, yes, Chuck mentioned it earlier. The coming onto pit road, Michael McDowell runs out of talent, cleans out the 24. William Byron is sitting. His nose is almost on the apron or on the banking, like it's right there.
Yeah.
And that's not a caution.
Yeah.
And then we throw a caution later for Chase Elliott spinning by himself in 3 and 4. And also the 15, I think, or the 51. I can't remember. There was another
51,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 51. That also happened. We threw a caution for that as well. Both of those guys were out of the way as far as I'm concerned. And especially if you didn't throw a caution earlier. And also, like, he stopped feet from the racetrack. Like, that should have been a caution.
Yeah, that absolutely should have been a caution. I don't care. I've said this before because there was I can't remember the situation that happened last year where a crash happened in the middle of the pit cycle. But I said this last year. I don't care if they're in the middle of the pit cycle. A caution is a caution. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when in the race it is. A caution is a caution. There shouldn't be stipulations to it. Now, as far as the Chase Elliott thing goes, I understand why they threw a caution there because I don't even know if they covered it. Ty Gibbs spun off forward in the middle of the racetrack when that happened.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So, but Kaz Gralla, I don't know why the fuck that was a caution. I couldn't tell you. Like that had me puzzled. But
by the way, Kaz Gralla hit 15, not the 51. Not that it matters.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's frustrating. And Clint even said it on the broadcast. He's like, "Well, NASCAR don't want to throw a caution here." Well, that's absurd. That's ridiculous. You literally just pissed off a bunch of the fan base because you threw a caution at the end of the Daytona 500, but which was the right call. But then we do this all the time. We're so inconsistent, and we have a situation, and it always bites NASCAR in the ass because there's immediately a situation that contradicts them, and they handle it the wrong way.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was surprised. Ever.
Yeah. Other than that, Let's see. Trying to look through my notes here. Other than that, I mean, covered a lot of everything. I think Ty Gillen, quote of the year, or quote of at least the race, maybe not of the year. He said, in referring to Atlanta, it's like going through a haunted house, It's fun, but I'm scared for my life at the same time. Yeah, that embodies the new Atlanta perfectly.
Or
Chuck,
with my computer, Leo, for now.
All right.
What?
All right.
I'm sorry. I don't have another solution.
You'll be all right.
I do want to clarify. I was rambling about something else. I didn't mean to say that they made the right call with the caution. I meant to say otherwise.
Oh, okay.
I was just rambling about my other issue. I will say my other candidate for quote of the year. I don't know if you guys saw when they wrecked on lap 2, they interviewed Josh Williams because he was obviously out after that. And he said, I thought I left ARCA a long time ago, but apparently not.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all because I feel like it wasn't warranted. I mean, the big one, yeah, I guess we got to talk about the big wreck that happened on lap 2. I mean, it all started because Todd tried to let Michael McDowell in, and that was definitely a dumb move. Like, it's dumbass award candidate worthy. But I mean, I don't know calling them marker drivers is really don't go down this Ryan Preece path, Josh Williams, where you know racing and better than everybody else and want to be a dick about it.
I wish this thing worked, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, we do too, Chuck. We do
I'm
too.
sorry. Is it really, really bad?
Anyway, anybody else have a comment on wrecking on lap 2?
Yeah, they wrecked on lap 2. Like, that's my only other thing about this race is really you wrecked on lap 2, which in a way I think actually led to the race being really good because there was less cars to wreck, if that makes sense.
It sure didn't stop them.
Yeah.
How many cars races were ended by that?
6.
Two.
No, knocked out of contention to where they weren't in the pack, 6.
Okay. Well,
Josh Williams, Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman.
Okay, that wasn't my argument, but okay.
What was your argument?
Nothing. It doesn't matter.
It is a fair point. Though. Yeah. Like, they just kind of rode around the rest of the day. So
yeah.
I think it's fair.
Jones only finished like 4 laps down, but like every green flag run, he was a couple, like he was about a second a lap slower, and they just eventually every once in a while catch him, but still he was done.
Okay. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have much else about the Cup race. You guys?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
I just can't stand that I enjoyed it so much.
Hey, man. Hey, yeah. We'll move on. I just want to go ahead and point out that the truck and Xfinity race were horrible.
Yes.
Very
thoroughly awful.
Like, terrible.
Yeah. Like, okay, really bad.
Glad we could get that out of the way. Is it time to move on to the... Actually, no. Let's, before we go on to that, Chuck, hey, let's talk about this, man. Let's talk about this. What was Mike Hillman Jr. cooking, man? Bailey Curry's roof fucking flew off, man. Like, what kind of windshield games is he playing? Like so, they realized they race convertibles at Daytona, not Atlanta, right? Like, I got all the jokes. Like, I can keep going.
I sent him a text today, and I said,
those of you who don't know, if you haven't listened to the podcast with Chuck, you definitely should know that Chuck is Mike Hillman Jr.'s nephew. who was the crew chief of Bailey Curry's 41 truck.
I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. I texted him. I said, so what in the world happened with the roof yesterday? And in the words of Mike Hillman Jr., damn thing blew the fuck off.
Well, no shit. We could see that.
We saw that.
Obviously, Mike. But in all seriousness, so I asked him if something broke. And apparently they never covered this or nothing was ever said about it.
I mean, we could see that something broke.
Yeah, something broke because something smacked the front of the windshield.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's
Bullshit.
No, that is what Bailey said happened, is that something hit the windshield.
Bullshit.
So
I don't buy that for a minute. That's what they had to tell NASCAR.
That is the answer we have, is that the windshield broke because it was hit, and then obviously the roof flap, damn thing flew the fuck off.
Well, what drives me crazy...
Flew off. Hold on. No. I gotta address this.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta address this. And Chuck, don't interrupt me. We saw this last year with someone at Homestead where they had the roof caved in. Or not the roof, the windshield caved in. I think it was the 66 truck. I saw another truck in this race that had the same deal. I can't remember exactly what truck it was that had the same deal with the dip in the windshield. I don't think anything hit that windshield, bro. I don't think a damn thing hit that windshield. I think your uncle there is doing a little Class A fuckery. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna call him out for it.
Well, it was Zane Smith.
Wrong. That was who it was. It was Zane Smith at Homestead. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what do you do? He take a page out of Rodney Children's book, leave a couple bolts out of there. Or what?
Well, obviously,
get Mike Hillman on this podcast. I want to ask him. I'm gonna grill his ass.
One day we'll get Mike Hillman on this podcast.
That'd be awesome. I'm gonna ask him why the fuck he felt the need to beat Ron Hornaday in the championship that one year too. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was both years, by the way.
Oh, really? He was crew chief both years. All right. Well, I get two of them. Anyway,
he's got two of those trophies sitting in the Hillman house. I think it's worth noting that nothing was said about it in post-race tech because they DQ'd Zane in post-race tech.
Because the damn thing was wrecked.
Not
they couldn't
really.
prove it then.
There was nothing wrong with it except the roof was gone. That doesn't mean they can't go in there and prove that there was something fucked up with the windshield. So
okay, we'll agree to this. Seth, you were saying something. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. I'll just say that we'll find out this week.
Okay, what drives me crazy is, so I watched most of the first two stages of the truck race. Saw the windshield caved in the entire time. Literally checked Twitter. Didn't see a thing about it.
I saw a couple things.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I just didn't see it. But I leave. I come back. The race is ending as I come back, and I check social media. First thing I see is the roof blew off, and I'm like, oh, that adds up. Like, I don't know. It's almost like people don't pay attention. It was super clear that it was like that for a while.
Yeah.
And people just don't like. How do you not look at a pack of cars or trucks, and not notice that one of them's windshield is lower than the rest of them? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a pretty obvious detail.
Well, I think what's even funnier is the fact that while they're on pit road, I don't want to name names or say who did it, but Jamie Little definitely said, "Can he get back out there?"
She also said, if y'all didn't know, Kyle Busch used to own Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Dude, she did say that. She said that.
She also said Kyle Majeski was sniffing at the end of the race. So.
Well, I'm sure NASCAR will pick that up and run with it. Anyway.
The best Instagram account.
Oh, 100%, dude. We were having a field day with NASCAR earlier. But the Xfinity race was not much better. Oh my god, dude.
It was worse.
It was way worse. Yeah, you're correct. And that led to everybody ran out of gas at the end, except for, of course, Austin Hill because of reasons.
Because of course, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if he would have run out of gas, cue the intro.
The final time onto the front stretch. He comes to the checkered flag. He's won the very first street race in NASCAR.
If he would have run out of gas, he might have had Chandler Smith pile drive into the back of him to give us a Shane Van Gisbergen win. But instead, we got a top three. Welcome to the Shane Van Gisbergen rundown from down under. How about that, dude? First Xfinity top 5 at his second start.
Yeah, I was significant. Like, Shane finishing third masked the fact that Austin Hill won this race for me. I only had to think about that for a second, and then I was like, dude, fucking Shane, let's go.
Yeah.
And then TV didn't interview him.
Yeah, no. I don't know how. Yeah, like, dude,
he's only the biggest name in the Xfinity Series by a wide margin.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand. Motherfucker finished top 3. Like, I mean, I don't care how he got there because, I mean, he definitely, like, he ran a smart race. He ran a very smart race. I saw him. He was very methodical, hung out, in the back, but not too far out. He made a couple mistakes I noticed, and this is being overcritical, but it's just because I'm watching that one car, where he let some guys take him 3 wide, and he got shuffled out once or twice. But, I mean, I don't know, man. There's something to be said about the fact that he hung out, was real methodical about it. But when it came time to go, he could get up there and get in the mix of it. Like, Dude, I was proud of him. I was super proud of him. He did do something funny that I want to point out. When they were, after he pitted under that last caution and got fuel, everybody else was saving fuel and going on the apron, and I don't think Shane knew what to do, so he goes on the apron too with them. So that was kind of funny. But I mean, dude, like a 12th and a 3rd. Y'all were wondering how long it was going to take.
Well, okay, we haven't seen him on an intermediate yet. Well,
that's true.
We'll wait, but I mean, just the amount of improvement from Daytona to now was staggering.
Yeah.
And him starting mid-pack, like 17th to 18th, moved his way up to about.
He started like 11th or 12th.
No, he didn't.
Oh, maybe I'm dumb. Anyway, sorry.
I think he qualified 17th. I could be wrong, but anyway, moves up to 12th, 11th, something like that. Hangs out, then has to go to the back because they, of course, didn't get any practice. Fix this, NASCAR.
Yeah.
Didn't get any practice. The 11 had a problem with the left rear, so they were being precautious. Went ahead and fixed it on the 97. And in like 20 laps, he worked his way back up to where he was.
Dude, every time he lost track position, he was right back to the 8th to 12th range. I mean, like clockwork. I mean, that's obviously Colin built some good race cars, but you got to know what to do with those race cars. And I think that just comes from, I think it's natural. It's even, he's never done this before, but it's just the natural gift that he has as a racing driver to know where to put the car in situations. And I think that's something that I don't know that people are overlooking, but it definitely, I see some critics out there who's like, well, he's going to do that. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He did qualify 13th for clarification.
13th. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't have been bothered to watch either race. So I didn't.
Oh God, Chuck is too good for.
But I happened to
Chuck was busy for the record.
Yeah, I was. I
I
went
was
dirt
literally
track.
gonna text in our group chat. I'd be like, when we started talking about Shane in the group chat last night, I literally was gonna tell or put in there. Chuck says, I didn't watch it because I was at some bumfuck fucking dirt track.
I was,
But
actually.
I didn't know. I
But-
felt like that was immature.
But I did check the results, and I was like, I literally said, damn, Shane finished third. Good for Shane. And my first thought was, how did Shane finish third? Because that's cool. And then when I saw that the half the field didn't wreck, and he just, I mean, they did run out of gas, but like he was just up there and finished third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
because
that-
I mean, he was running 8th when
Yeah,
everyone
like,
started running out of
That is
gas.
awesome.
Yeah.
That good for him. Now, like Seth kind of hinted or said, whatever, we'll learn a lot about where he's actually at the next 3 weeks
Oh yeah. Of
because
course.
they go Vegas, Phoenix, Bristol, and
No, they're not running Bristol.
they're not running Bristol. They
I
aren't
don't
running.
think so.
They run Bristol in the fall. No, they run Bristol in the fall. Where do they run next? They run. I'll tell you
It
right
doesn't
now.
matter. They run Vegas, so we'll take it one step at a time.
Yep.
Vegas, Phoenix. Oh, and then they go to Coda, so he'll mop them with AJ.
God, that's going to be a great race.
Yeah.
How do we think a non-college car wins a road course race this year?
Yeah. I mean,
No.
it's gonna happen, but I'm predicting a Juan Pablo Montoya Scott Pruitt type deal from Mexico City in 07, where they take each other out accidentally.
I can see that happening.
I mean, what is it? What's the immovable force meets unmovable? What's the saying?
Unstoppable force meets immovable object.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably going to be a situation this year. But I mean, to go back to the point where yes, he got to third on fuel strategy and whatever, but I mean, it goes back to, I quote it on here all the time, the Richard Petty quote of, the best you can do on any given Sunday or Saturday in this instance is put yourself in a position to win, and circumstances dictate the outcome. He put himself in position to where when the circumstances presented himself, he came out of there with the top 5. So give the man some credit. He did a hell of a job. He did a hell of a job.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's all we got for the SVG rundown from Down Under. Cool. All right. Should we get to the accolades?
Accolades.
The accolades. All right, let's go. All right, we'll go ahead. I think I know the answer to this, but was this race bitching?
Yes.
Very.
Very
Gross,
bitching.
but
Yeah, very bitching. Even Kyle Larson, who's wrecked in every Atlanta Superspeedway race, even Kyle Larson said this was really fun. So,
so did Truex Jr., who also hates plate racing.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
fair.
it should tell you how much input the driver actually has, because guess who actually got to run up front in a super speedway race? Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. Good drivers who aren't particularly very good at super speedway racing. They looked pretty fucking good today.
yeah.
I mean, it helps they had rocket ships under him, but still, we've seen Kyle Larson with a fast car to super speedway before. He still looks like a dingus. I don't know what else to say.
I want to ask this question real quick. Do we think this race is still a little bit too long?
No, I think
Okay.
400 is pretty good.
Okay, I just felt like maybe, I don't know. It felt like it was a little long to me.
I don't.
Anyway,
I think it only felt a little long because we wrecked so much.
yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, I think I don't realize how many cautions we had. All right, sundress and dumbass. Let's start out with sundress. I know this is a shock to everyone. It's really going to be all left field for you guys. But I think Daniel Suarez is going to be my sundress.
Wow.
I think he did a great job today. I think it can't be said enough how great of a job he did. And so yes, I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with Daniel Suarez as my sundress.
What an
Hang
upset.
on. I gotta get something off my nose. Something's a little too on it. Anyway,
I get that. I get it. Okay.
so since I knew you were gonna say Daniel Suarez, I just went ahead with the next best thing, which was Trackhouse in general.
On God.
I heard facts. Charles.
I'm taking the funny route. We've already discussed this, but so Kyle Busch posted to Instagram.
Oh God.
Can't get much closer than that. Needed a couple inches. And his wife, Samantha, commented on the post, I've been telling you that for almost 20 years. Shout out Samantha Busch for having a sense of humor. And poor Kyle.
Or maybe she's being serious.
Maybe she's being serious and she just put him on blast for the whole world to see.
Someone should ask that monster girl from a couple years ago. Anyway. Just
Allegedly.
Scoop by that one real quick. Anyway, that is funny. Honorable mention for sundress is Todd Gilliland. Yes, he did something dumb. But Todd Gilliland has led the most laps this season.
That's the product of having 2 super speedways at the start of the season.
It's true, but give the man credit. He's done a hell of a job.
I mean, I do give the man credit.
He led the most laps today.
After somewhat harassing him at Wilkesboro, I've paid very close attention to him. And don't say anything, Charles or Buddy. I don't want to hear it out of you two. Anyway, I've been paying attention to old Todd, the bod Gilliland. And I think he's really underrated. And I think he's
very underrated.
Yes, and he's good looking. And anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now.
On a dumbass.
Quit while you're behind. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, dumbass. I'm gonna go with NASCAR officiating.
Oh,
I'm sure you're shocked, but I'm sorry, the 24 could have gotten cleaned the hell out, and he was stopped, basically on the track. And then later, of course, the 15 spins to the bottom by himself, didn't even fully spin, caught it, caution. Yeah, saved it, caution. Explain that one to me, and don't use the phrase pit cycle because that's not an argument. So, yeah, NASCAR officiating. Great job, guys.
I'm actually going to pick one of the hosts off the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. His name is Chuck. I'm picking picking myself for dumbass. Number 1, because my mic is dead. But number 2, because of what I said approximately 5 minutes before the drop of the green flag today.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember what I said in our group chat. I said, I'm going to simplify it, but I said, I'm pissed. I have to watch a race at this dog shit track and write a post-race recap and column instead of sleeping through this snooze fest.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty fucking dumb.
Moving on, buddy.
Aged like milk, as they say.
Aged. Yeah. My dumbass. I was going to go with Todd Gilliland, but then he led a bunch of laps. Michael McDowell is a good candidate, but I think Super Chase Briscoe is a great candidate because every move he made had the biggest pucker factor you could have. Butthole clenched every time the camera was on him. Because he was a dart without feathers, a piss missile, whatever you want to call it. And then he finally wrecked the damn thing because he's not good. So Chase Briscoe is my dumbass of the week. So yeah. Also, dumbass of the week material, Joey Logano.
Yes.
For, I guess the 22 team. That's pretty dumb to think you can modify a fucking glove, which is a safety thing, for an aerodynamic advantage. Like, you can't do that. That's pretty, like, clear. You can't do that. Like,
I wonder how much that's going to cost them.
I mean, did they look at the Dale Jr. download and, like, listen to Darrell Waltrip episode and it's like, oh, yeah, maybe I should have a 50-pound radio and, you know, switch that out. Like, that's the type of vibe I got from it, was just this old school, like, which, I mean, I guess maybe you thought it could have been overlooked, but I don't know. It's pretty dumb. I got a good chuckle out of that one. If you guys don't know, Joey Logano essentially made his glove, his racing glove, a duck's foot in order to create a less drag in his glove when he holds it up in the area between the window net and the A post during qualifying. So, and got caught because we have in-car cameras.
I would love to see some scientific data about how much this actually helps.
I also would too. We need Steve Letarte to explain that to us.
Because it's like they have like that whole window piece to the left now. So like there's this little tiny bit there that you could possibly affect.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Any little bit counts, I guess.
But considering he won the poll last week and he wasn't cheating, and he didn't win the poll this week and he was cheating.
Well, who's to say? I mean, he might have had it last week too, and we just didn't catch it. It took NASCAR.
I mean, they have a camera in every car.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, picks. I picked Austin Cindric, so I won.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for that pick. Any suggestions on who I should pick this week?
BJ McLeod.
No. Great pick. Great suggestion. I think I'm going to go a different direction. I get the picks first, don't I? That's what we established?
Yes.
Okay. Chris. What?
I said then me, then Seth.
Okay. Christopher Bell.
Fucking motherfucker. That's 2 out of 3 races this year. The only one I got to pick my guy is when I went first.
I can give you a suggestion if you'd like.
Yeah, no.
Dude, I don't know. Seth's suggestion's pretty good. I'm 1 for 1.
BJ McLeod.
Go ahead, Seth. Go ahead.
Kick. Oh, Bubba.
That's pretty good.
I'm gonna go with Alex Bowman.
Oh, that's what.
That's a good one. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. Oh, I got an idea where I could pick Alex. Anyway. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. Other than that, I think that's it, guys. Am I missing something? I feel like
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Shout out to my mom being a huge Daniel Suarez fan, and shout out to Jose for, I'm sure he's listening to this. So, mi amigo.
Again, Jose, remember, I gotta ask. There are other podcasts.
Hey, Jose, when they run this Clash down in Mexico next year, we're coming to see you. We're bringing the podcast to you.
I don't know about all that.
Okay, well,
that sounds very expensive.
It does sound very. We'll do our best. Anyway, yeah, this has been the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. Go Daniel Suarez, man. I'm not even gonna say the line. I'm too happy.
He's been Buddy. I've been Seth. That's been Charles. And we'll see y'all next week.